Have you ever done everything right? You worked your butt off. You set clear goals. You read the books. You watch the motivational videos. You follow the 10 habits of successful people. And yet, something still feels stuck, like there's this invisible door to success. And no matter what you do, it just won't open. What if you're not missing knowledge? You're not missing drive? You're just missing one thought, one perspective that could shift everything. And it's not some new age hack or billion-dollar secret. It's a lesson that was written down over 2,000 years ago by people who didn't just talk about life, they survived it. It comes from Stoic philosophy. And no, this isn't about sounding deep on Twitter. This is about how you live when life gets hard and stays hard. Here's the wild part. Out of all the Stoic lessons, there's one that's so simple, most people skip right over it. But if you actually stop and live it, it can unlock your entire mindset. Not success by someone else's definition. Success on your terms. Calm, steady, untouchable. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's it. And in this video, I want to break that down. Not just what it means, but how you actually use it in real life. This isn't a lecture. This is a wake-up call. One that maybe you were meant to hear right now. Part 1. The core lesson. The one key behind Stoicism. You can't control the world, but you can always control how you respond to it. Now, picture this. You're sitting in a cafe, enjoying your drink, relaxing. Suddenly, someone walks by and bam, knocks your arm. Hot coffee spills all over your shirt. It burns. You're drenched. Everyone stares. Your first instinct? Anger. Frustration. Maybe a little bit of, what the hell is wrong with people? But a Stoic philosopher would ask something very different. They'd say, you can't undo the spill. That already happened. But right now, this very second, you can choose how you respond. Will you react instantly or respond wisely? Be a victim or take ownership? That right there is the soul of Stoic thinking. And in today's world, where every second we're bombarded by negativity, on the news, on social media, in everyday drama, mastering your response isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. So why is this the foundation of a success mindset? In Stoic philosophy, there's a core concept called the dichotomy of control, the ability to clearly separate what you can control from what you can't. You can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond. You can't stop the rain, but you can bring an umbrella or smile in the storm. You can't control the market crashing, your boss being in a bad mood, your partner walking away, or life throwing you a curveball. But what you always control is how you think, how you process, and how you act next. And that is where Stoicism and modern success mindset finally meet. The most successful people, they don't live a problem-free life. They just react to problems differently. Let me tell you a true story. The volcano and the lighthouse keeper. In 1973, on a small island called Jaime off the coast of Iceland, a volcano suddenly erupted. Lava poured down, threatening to destroy the entire town. Homes, families, even the harbor. People panicked. They ran, screamed, froze in fear. But one man, a lighthouse keeper, didn't. He stayed calm, analyzed the situation, radioed for help, and proposed something that sounded insane. Let's cool the lava with seawater. It worked. Because of his calm response, a town was saved. Now imagine if he'd panicked like everyone else. Blamed the gods. Cursed his luck. Ran for his life. What would have been left? This is the power of your response. It can shape outcomes. It can protect people around you. It can change everything. In the next section, we're going to break this lesson down even further and look at real ways to apply it in your daily life, in your career, in failure, in love, in conflict. Because this isn't just a cool quote. It's a user manual for how to live. Part 2, real-life application. Your reaction builds your future. You can't control what happens to you, but you can always control you. The way you respond to failure doesn't just shape the outcome. It decides whether that failure is the end of the story or the beginning of your next chapter. Story 1, the startup that failed and the man who didn't. Meet Twan, a young, ambitious guy. At 28, he quit his high-paying job to start a tech company. He poured in his savings, borrowed money, built a team, launched ads. And then, boom, it all collapsed. He lost everything. Friends told him to just go back to work. His family was disappointed. His confidence? Gone. But instead of spiraling, Twan sat down, opened his notebook, and wrote a single line. What part of this is still under my control? And the answer? I can learn from this. I can become a better leader. I can choose not to confuse failure with who I am. Twan had been reading Stoicism, Ryan Holiday's books, Marcus Aurelius, the classics. He didn't rebuild the same business. He rebuilt himself. And the second time around, he attracted better partners, stayed calmer. And this time, he actually succeeded. Stoicism doesn't promise you won't fall. It just helps you stand back up stronger. Story 2, getting laid off, dead end or new beginning. Mai was a team leader at a global company. One day, out of nowhere, she got laid off in a corporate restructure. 8 years of loyalty. Gone. Just like that, with one cold, polite email. She felt betrayed, lost, angry, and now she had 2 options. 1, vent, blame, stay bitter. 2, or choose what Epictetus once wrote. We are not disturbed by what happens, but by how we interpret it. So Mai looked inward. She realized for years she'd buried her passion for writing, teaching, inspiring others. That layoff? It wasn't the end. It was her permission slip. She started a blog on personal development and soft skills. 1 year later, she became a full-time speaker with twice her old salary and the freedom she never thought possible. There is no such thing as loss if you turn it into something that helps you grow. Story 3, public criticism, mastering the art of not taking the bait. Nam is a young painter. One day, a big influencer publicly slammed his work, called it fake, flashy, shallow. The post went viral. Followers dropped. Nam's motivation? Crushed. He was ready to fire back, write a response, defend himself online. But then, while flipping through meditations, he stumbled on this. If someone speaks badly of you, remember, it does not harm you unless you let it. Nam closed his laptop, did nothing. Instead, he painted. For the next month, he created a new collection, raw, honest, no filters. And that collection? It became his first ever solo gallery show. Nam didn't win by arguing. He won by refusing to play a game that wasn't worth his energy. Stoic thinking at life's crossroads. Think back to your most defining moments, the real turning points. It wasn't your grades, wasn't your resume, wasn't who you knew. It was this. What did you do when things didn't go your way? That's what shaped you. That's what built you. You ready for the next chapter? Because in part 3, we're diving into something powerful. Why is this lesson, this incredibly simple idea, so often ignored, forgotten, or buried? If you've ever heard the quote, but felt like it never clicked in real life, then trust me, part 3 is for you. Part 3, why this lesson is almost always ignored. So, if this idea is so powerful, if it's the key to a calm, successful, unshakable mindset, why don't more people live by it? Let's break it down. 1, because it's too simple and we worship complexity. We live in an age that's addicted to complexity. Google how to be successful. You'll get 9.4 million results. Everyone's chasing the next hack, the secret sauce, the 3-step millionaire formula, the 300-page self-help breakthrough. So when someone tells you, just learn to control your reaction and you'll find real strength, your brain probably goes, that's it. Sounds basic. I've heard that before. And that's exactly why it gets ignored. Not because the lesson isn't powerful, but because it doesn't feel powerful. It's like fitness. We know the truth. Eat clean, move your body, get enough sleep. But we skip that and chase 3-day juice cleanses, obtoning belts, or some miracle detox tea. Stoicism doesn't sell illusions. It gives you reality. and that's why it's so often overlooked. 2, because reactions are invisible and no one teaches you how to master them. Let me ask you something. In school, did anyone teach you how to stay calm when someone insults you? How to respond to criticism without losing your mind? How to avoid letting your emotions hijack your actions? Nope. We learn math. We memorize dates. But no one teaches us how to operate our own mind. And here's the thing about reactions. They're quiet. Nobody throws you a party for staying calm during a heated argument. No one gives you a medal for not clapping back at your partner when you're angry. In fact, society often sees calmness as weakness, silence as losing, not fighting back as being soft. But the Stoics flip that. Victory is when you strike back. Victory is when you don't need to. Big success doesn't come from big, flashy moments. It comes from consistent, calm, quiet choices made over and over again. 3, because the modern world is wired for dopamine, not depth. Let's be honest. Social media has trained our brains to chase instant hits of dopamine. Watch a funny video, laugh, scroll, read a rude comment, get mad, clap back. Someone criticizes you, block, respond, react. The brain gets used to instant reactions. But Stoicism says, pause, observe, detach, reflect. And that is hard because slowing down doesn't feel good right away. It doesn't give you a high. It's not flashy or fun, but it does give you long-term strength, the kind that doesn't flinch under pressure. That kind of mental muscle, it takes time. And very few people are willing to train it because it goes against your survival brain. Here's the harsh truth. You're wired to react. Your ancient brain still operates on fight or flight. Someone disrespects you, you fight. You fail at something, you run, hide, blame. You get rejected, you feel shame, anger, maybe even self-hate. But Stoicism tells you to do the opposite. Sit with it. Don't lash out. Watch yourself in the chaos. It's like drowning and being told not to flail. Not easy, but it's the only way out of the emotional loop that keeps you stuck, living as a victim of your own instincts. 5, because it doesn't sell, so no one profits from teaching it. You can't build $1 billion business around saying, hey, control your reactions. That's it. There's no shiny product, no viral workshop, no high-ticket program. And because no one can really monetize this truth, it's been quietly buried, not by some evil conspiracy, but because there's simply no profit in teaching you how to truly master yourself. No one benefits from you becoming unshakable, except you. So maybe right now you're thinking, okay, this makes sense, but can I actually learn how to do this? Good question. And that's exactly where we're going next. In part 4, we'll explore how the Stoics themselves trained this mindset, not in theory, but in the chaos of real life, in war, in slavery, in exile, even in the face of death. Because if they could stay calm in that, you can handle your inbox. Part 4, how the Stoics actually trained their minds. So far, this idea sounds powerful, but here's the real question. Can it be trained, or are some people just naturally calm? Let me tell you this. The greatest Stoics, they weren't born calm. They were forged in the fire of pain, loss, betrayal, and even death. Let's meet them. 1. Epictetus. From slave to master the mind. Epictetus was born a slave. Not, my boss is annoying, kind of slave. We're talking on like property. Beaten. Humiliated. Zero control over anything in life, except one thing. How he responded. There's a story. His master twisted his leg in a fit of rage. Epictetus calmly said, I warned you. If you keep going, you'll break it. Snap. He did. But Epictetus? No screaming. No hatred. No revenge. Why? Because he had already learned something most people never will. You can chain my body, but not my mind. After gaining his freedom, Epictetus became one of the greatest Stoic teachers in history. He never wrote books himself, but his students recorded his words in works like Discourses and the Enchiridion, still studied 2,000 years later. Epictetus' lesson: Nothing is truly yours except your ability to choose your response. People can take your money, your title, your freedom, but not your mind. Never your mind. 2. Seneca, Peace in the Face of Death. Seneca was an advisor to Emperor Nero, one of the most ruthless, erratic rulers in Roman history. One day, Nero ordered Seneca to take his own life. Now stop and imagine. You've served your empire, given your wisdom, stayed loyal, and this is how it ends? Most people would beg, cry, panic. But Seneca, he opened the door, welcomed friends inside, talked with them like it was just afternoon tea, and then calmly, he opened his veins, and as he bled out, he continued teaching Stoic philosophy to his students. We do not fear death, he said. We fear how we face it. Seneca's lesson. Calm isn't a personality trait. It's what happens when you train your thinking in small moments, so you're ready for the big ones. If you want to stay composed when life falls apart, start with how you react when someone spills coffee on your shirt. 3. Marcus Aurelius, a lonely emperor in a world of chaos. Marcus Aurelius was not a king in a palace of peace. He was an emperor at war, fighting endless battles, surrounded by betrayal, grieving the death of his children, facing plague, sickness, and deep loneliness on the throne. But instead of writing orders, he wrote to himself, quietly, honestly, in a journal that became meditations, a guide not for the world, but for his own soul. He once wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, remind yourself, today I will meet people who are rude, selfish, and foolish, but I won't blame them. They just haven't learned better yet, and I won't let them drag me down." That's a Roman emperor, reminding himself to stay patient with difficult people. So, yeah, if he had to remind himself daily, maybe we should too. Marcus's lesson. You don't control what happens, even if you're the most powerful man in the world, but you always control your spirit, even in war, betrayal, or loneliness. So how do they train this? Simple repetition, routine, reflection. No one is born stoic. They build it brick by brick, day by day. They practice like this. In the morning, they visualize the worst that could happen. This way, if it happened, they wouldn't be shocked. In the evening, they reviewed their day. Where did I lose my calm? What can I do better tomorrow? During the day, they asked, is this within my control? Over and over and over. That's how you build a stoic mind. And if they could do this, in the middle of war, slavery, political betrayal, and actual death sentences, then what's stopping you? Because Stoicism isn't about looking cool. It's about not exploding when you're criticized, not crumbling when you fail, not hating yourself for making a mistake, but instead staying calm, taking ownership, moving forward. And in the next part 5, we're going even deeper. You're probably wondering, okay, this is amazing, but how do I actually start practicing this, like in my real, messy, everyday life? Don't worry. Part 5 is your answer, your step-by-step guide to building an unshakable mind in the real world. Part 5, modern application, how to actually practice Stoicism daily. Let's be real. You don't need to be a philosopher in a robe or meditate in the mountains to live like a Stoic. You just need a few small, repeatable habits. Practice daily. And over time, you'll become someone who stays calm, even when the world goes off the rails. Let's break it down. Habit 1, the what can I control? Filter. Next time you feel angry, anxious, overwhelmed, stop and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, focus on what you can do right now to make it better. You can't control the rain or what others think or the market crashing, but you can control how you prepare, how you respond, and how you move forward. Train this one filter, and you'll eliminate 80% of your mental drama. Seriously. Habit 2, morning Stoic journaling. Each morning, take just a few minutes to write down these questions. If something goes wrong today, how will I respond? If someone disrespects me, will I lose control or stay grounded? Will I act from emotion or wisdom? Write your answers. Don't worry about sounding poetic. This isn't for Instagram. It's for your brain. Think of it as mental weightlifting. You're reminding yourself, you drive the ship. You are not a passenger. Habit 3, the 5-second pause. Anytime you're tempted to snap, react, send that message. Pause. Take 5 seconds. Count slowly from 5 to 1. Why? Because it shifts your brain from instinct to reason, from emotional to intentional. This pause might save you from sending that angry email, saying something you'll regret, or making a bad decision in the heat of the moment. It also builds your credibility. People trust those who respond with thought, not emotion. Habit 4, negative visualization. This might sound strange, but it's ancient Stoic wisdom. Visualize the worst-case scenario on purpose. Every day, take a moment to imagine something bad happening, losing your job, getting rejected, failing hard. Then ask yourself, if this happened, could I still move forward? Here's the magic. When you've already mentally prepared for loss, rejection, or failure, you become harder to break. And more than that, you start feeling grateful for the ordinary days, for the fact that today you still have what matters. Not why me, but thank you. Today wasn't a bad day. Habit 5, the 5-year rule. When you're frustrated, disappointed, embarrassed, ask, will this still matter in 5 years? Most of the time, no, not even in 5 weeks. This one question zooms you out of short-term emotions and pulls you back into the big picture. It reminds you, don't burn your future over a temporary feeling. Bonus tip, daily Stoic reminders. Set small reminders on your phone. Post them on your wall. Little nudges like, don't react. Observe. Everything is temporary, including this emotion. Focus only on what you can control. These aren't motivational quotes. They're portable anchors. Mental GPS for when life throws you off balance. The best part? These habits don't take hours. Just a few minutes a day. But if you stay consistent, you'll start to notice something shift. You'll snap less. You'll pause more. And slowly, you'll become unshakable. You won't need to change the world. Because once you change yourself, the world changes too. And now, are you ready for part 6? Because in the next section, we're uncovering something most people never realize. Many of today's millionaires, creators, and entrepreneurs are living like Stoics without even knowing it. Let's find out how. Part 6, the hidden truth. Many successful people are already living like Stoics. You might be surprised, but many of the most successful people today, entrepreneurs, creators, investors, are practicing Stoicism without even realizing it. No, they're not quoting Seneca or Marcus Aurelius on stage. They don't wear togas or sit around reading meditations. But the way they think, the way they approach challenges, it's pure Stoic mindset in action. They don't let emotions take over. They don't panic when the market crashes. They don't blame others when things fall apart. They stay calm. They take ownership. They adapt. They're not obsessed with controlling everything. They focus on what they can control. Their effort, their attention, their response. When something goes wrong, they don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, what can I do next? That single shift in thinking, that's Stoicism in real life. They don't call it that, but they live it. Think about it. A startup founder loses funding, and instead of quitting, he builds again from scratch. A content creator gets rejected and turns it into motivation to grow even stronger. A team leader faces layoffs and uses it as a chance to reinvent her career. They don't drown in what they can't control. They swim with clarity, focus, and direction. They are, in essence, modern-day Stoics. So maybe the question isn't, can I live like a Stoic? Maybe the real question is, what's stopping me from doing it today? Because this mindset isn't reserved for the elite. You don't need millions in the bank or a huge audience. You just need the courage to pause and choose your response consciously, consistently, calmly. And when you do that, you're not just thinking like a Stoic. You're succeeding like one. Conclusion, one thought that can transform your entire success mindset. You've come with me on this journey. From what seemed like a simple idea to a truth that can change your entire life. We started with something that almost sounds cliché. You can't control the world, but you can always control how you respond. But as we've seen, that's not just a nice quote. It's the most solid foundation you can build your success mindset on. You saw in the stories of everyday people like Tuan, Mai, and Nam. You saw in the lives of ancient giants, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. And you saw it in today's modern icons, Ryan Holiday, Tim Ferriss, Tom Brady, people who may not name Stoicism, but live its spirit every single day. So if there's only one thing you remember from this entire video, let it be this. Every action begins with a thought. And if you can master your thoughts, you can master your life. It's not luck. It's not connections. It's not fate. It's how you choose to respond. That's where your success begins or ends. Now it's your turn. If this message hit home, if it sparked something inside you, don't let it fade away. Share it. Send it to a friend who's struggling, to someone who feels lost. Or save it for yourself, the you of tomorrow, to remind you how strong you truly are. Like, share and subscribe, so you won't miss future videos on Stoicism, personal growth, and building a mindset that actually works in the real world. This isn't just a YouTube channel. This is the Future Self Project, where you're becoming the version of yourself that you'll be proud to meet. Remember, you can't control the storm, but you can learn to steer your ship through it. And if you do that day by day, success won't be something you chase. It'll be something that finds you